Alright guys, let's go! Game number 1, Battlefield of Eternity, and this is the grand final of the Epic Cup, the tournament for Division 4 and Division 5 in heroeslounge.gg, the amateur scene. On the left side, Sloth Sanctuary with Typhoon Hawk on Blaze, Dentro on Sylvanas, Tiny Owl on Rhaegar, Paradox on Zool, and Mitty on Falstad. And to the right side of the map, Team Unstoppable, let's see if they really are, with Bibo on Ana, Yukora on Chen, Enciferum on Varian, Suspect on Li Ming, and Snet, yeah, that guy, on CNET on Cassia. Alright, so let's go. And for everybody that doesn't really know what they're watching here right now, so pretty much heroeslounge.gg is the amateur scene in Europe and North America, and you can check their website out. You can participate, of course, there as well. Doesn't matter what level of play you're at. And they have a tons of divisions, and after every season, the best teams out of every division play against each other in an end-of-season tournament. We already went over the end-of-season tournament in Division 6 and Division 7, the Rare Cup. Now we're in the Epic Cup, which, as I said earlier, is featuring teams from Division 4 and 5. So I'm going to take the grand final today. This is a best-of-5 series, just to give those guys also a little bit of exposure. It's going to be a bit fun. We can definitely assume that there are some mistakes that are going to be made, and we'll check all of that out, talk a bit about what teams could do better, and we're going to have a laugh or two, I suppose. So, at this point, we are looking at Ether Walk on level 1, so it's going to be a Calamity build. That's a big jump over here onto Yukora on the other hand, and that is a kill right away. Of course, down to the bottom of the map, the cam is also being taken now. And as it stands, we have, with level 1 talents, the Eye of the Tiger, so that's going to be pretty helpful for later on. Of course, when we're talking about Blaze, it's usually the new habits that we have here, so you want to get the Unstoppable on the Pyromania. And, oh, while we're talking about it, I should probably point this out, because there's definitely going to be people on YouTube that's like, team title. So, yeah, that's apparently how they write their name. So, that typo is not mine. I literally just copied that from the tournament website. So, yeah, if you want to complain, you got to complain to them, not to me. So, I did everything correct here. 1 kill against 0 so far at the blue team. I mean, it's a little bit weird to see Zool, honestly, on this map. Usually when you play Zool, you want to play a bit of a different style where you focus on the wave clear. But we'll actually see how much he can come through for the team on this map. I mean, generally speaking, he's not really bad right now. The rework has definitely been a strong one for him. Previously, he was banned in some of the higher level tournaments simply because there was still a bug on his level 4. But that has now been removed too. We have him right now with the Grim Scythe on level 4. Falstad is going into a Lightning Rod build with his next talent tier 2. So we'll actually see how much he can do, but again, traditionally want to play a bit of a different style. Now with Varian as a main tank, we now have Taunt as level 4. I'm very grateful for that already. And this is of course going to try and set up Li Ming and Cassia for kills whenever the Taunt is used here. So something to watch out for right now. Top side, as we're currently, Paradox is still trying to hold the lane a little bit, playing this slow, doesn't really push it out quickly, wants to stay as safe as possible over here, but is now slowly starting to venture out after all, as the Immortal is spawning. Skeletons are also still coming in. Slides this through pretty easily, no problem for him. Varian down here is already attempting to jump in a little bit, but no taunt just yet. Li Ming wasn't there yet either. Level 4, again, going straight into Triumvirate here, which isn't really a problem as long as you take Calamity on level 7. But again, with Ether Walk on level 1, we can heavily assume that that's the case, or that will be the case once that they hit level 7. But for now, both teams just trying to focus down the hit points on the Immortal here on the first map of this best of 5 in the grand final, with nearly an even trade. Slight advantage for the blue team for now. But at this point, it just comes down to the race. And the weird thing is, honestly, that there's not really too many heroes that just excel on this map that have been taken by those teams. Greymane is missing, Vala is missing, Jimmy with Exterminator is missing. Now, we can obviously assume that a couple of those heroes have been banned out, but generally speaking, at least a few should have made it through the draft here, and that's just simply not the case. Hanzo isn't in with a scatter build either. There's a couple of heroes on each side that still do some damage and are great for the map, but nothing really just forces the Immortal as quickly as you usually want to. So now with still level 7, not quite reached yet, we have Varian jumping in with the taunt. Blaze maybe not the best target to taunt here on the other hand. You want to go on to the squishies, but they're at least guarding this as much as they can. And it seems like the blue team is going to lose objective number 1 after all. Job well done by the red team. Unstoppable went in, took it down. Now we have also level 7, the boomerang taken, which is going to be super impactful. We get the Harvest Vitality. And that's honestly not really the Zul that we've seen from any of the higher level players when Zul made it through, so it's definitely more so the old style, where you were trying to go for the unkillable Zul, usually with 2 supports behind it, and then also the extra sustain that he of course gets through his level 7. But here's Calamity now, and a lot of kill potential after a good taunt, and Varian is already looking for it. They're trying to go for Blaze, but instead it's Li Ming that's getting taken down, and Dendro is diving in deep. I mean, damn, could anybody help him? I love how nobody gave a shit about him. Dendro must have talked bad about Rhaegar's mom or something, because that was avoidable. I think they could have saved him here. So everybody is just like, went in and was like, dude, you know what? Like, no, just no. No heal for you, baby. So Rhaegar is still surviving, but that's 2 kills, and the Immortal also did some damage. The lead in experience goes to the blue team, though. But that's a bit of a weird one. 2 kills against 2 kills thus far. On level 7, we now also have Impale. After initially we saw Cassia starting up with Seraph's Hymn. And yeah, it's just about the camps again. It's a little bit of a slow start into this. The first objective did some damage, didn't take the fort down yet, but of course at least was able to take some of the hit points down. The gate has been destroyed too. And now there's another taunt, but again, you need to have the follow-up on the taunt. The taunt alone doesn't really help you. You need to have a follow-up behind it, and with the heroes that they have here, that's definitely possible, but they need to get in position for it first. Taking the fountain down, definitely great. And now they can also take, I assume, the fort itself. Falstad is already coming in. Down to the bottom of the map. He has helped Zul to get the camp so that they can push this out. But Chen is still holding it. Top side. The bird is down. Yeah, Zul is coming in too, but it seems like we could see Blaze fall as well. And Blaze is eliminated. The attempt to go for Li Ming, but she gets out. But that's going to be a couple of kills here regardless. Cassia's down, and so is Ana. The rest of the team is still trying to get away. And I assume we're going to see another kill happening here. Yeah, good attempt actually by Li Ming. That was actually really well done. And she saves Varian. Nicely done. Good job, girl. 4 kills versus 4. That's a bit of a spicy one. Rhaegar, by the way, went into his bloodlust. That in and of itself, of course, already a meme, and a big one at that. They don't really have a lot of heroes, but Bloodlust is like the talent to take right now, so I'm not quite sure why that's happening. Maybe he tries to support Zul with it, but yeah, a little bit awkward. But anyways, now that we have, of course, the focus on the Immortals, the blue team has taken a bit of lead on the halftime show. The red team could still try and make a play here. Unstoppable is already in position on the defense, though. There's no level 13 talents yet. Everybody's starting to jump in, and guess what? Li Ming is trying to poke away against the Immortal up at the top, whereas Cassia had to rotate down to deal with the Shaman over here. So the fighting in the middle of the map is still coming through as they're starting to jump onto Zul. Zul is in a bit of trouble, gets attacked, 6 hit points, and finally goes down. But the counter kill against Ana, she was a little bit too far out. The nano boost on Li Ming, panic gust from Falstad, and he's actually about to get away. Li Ming is dead though, and Falstad just survived with like 6 hit points or something. The triple pandas are coming in, and there's a kill as they're locking down Blaze with another taunt. Nicely done. And we're still dead even. 6 kills against 6 kills at this point. Okay. Alright. Yeah, now, what else do we get here? Oh, a potential kill against Falstad, and oh yeah, baby. Now we're talking, and that's another one. One after another, they are falling here, as the 2 tanks are still guarding it as much as they can. But with the rest of the team coming in, these bad boys need to be a little bit careful here, especially since Taunt is going to be up in another second. So, I have no idea what Varian is doing right now. If he would have just jumped in, that would have been a kill way earlier than that. Zul even had a chance to get away now. But seems like they have an opportunity to win another objective. Team Unstoppable, that is. There's a bit of poke happening. Blaze is sitting tight. But this is going to be objective number 2 in the hands of Unstoppable. So yeah, nicely done. Pretty well played so far. I mean, again, trying to make the best out of the situation here. But them surviving through all of it and now having a 3-kill lead is actually pretty impressive. Now they have also nearly a 50% shield on the Immortal. And since not everybody is at the bottom of the map and the wall has been taken, it pretty much means that you get this forward for sure. I guess Falstad could try and play around the Gust a little bit. But let's see what they're actually going to do with that. Right now they're a little bit weary, of course. With heroic abilities coming back, you can't really do too much here. Yeah, there's the attack again, down at the bottom of the map with Yukora now taking down the fort together with the Immortal. Zul is still sitting at the top side. They wanted to get their talent too, because 13 is in the hands of the red team. And the Sloth, the Sanctuary, is trying to get their talent as well. Lock it in, just as we speak, in time for the defense of the keep itself. And now, of course, the attempt to make that work, because the team in red is still trying to push at least a little bit. But they are not really overextending here. It's a bit too early in the game. 10 minutes in, it's not really doing too much damage just yet. So yeah, everybody starts to move topside again. Or well, the Panda moves topside again. Everybody else is starting to go to the camp at the bottom of the map. So at least lock this one in. Got a chance now to go top right. Try and take maybe the Shaman camp and prepare it for the next objective. Of course, the Khazra camp, another one that you could go for. The Panda, a little bit of a death wish here. Might have to use the ult too, and gets dropped. Honestly, that one was telegraphed. I mean, that one was a Captain Obvious call for sure. I mean, what else did you expect would happen here? So now Li Ming is dead, they couldn't kill Rhaegar. That was definitely the fault of Chen. It was more than obvious that there was a rotation and he would be getting attacked. So he should never have been that far out on the lane. Didn't need to be either. As long as you're an experienced ranger, absolutely good. Falstad is actually flying down to deal with the camp before it attacks the fort itself. But now, the keep itself, but now it means, of course, that top side we have this attack, and Zul is just starting to attack away here. With like one slash after another, getting that scythe into action. Okay. Starting to jump in here again with a nice move towards Zul, and Paradox is down, but so is Ana. Always the counter kill against Ana. Li Ming is trying to make her plays here. Calamity after Calamity, and actually they get the kill together with Chen, so now they can maybe clean up house. Cassia goes down first, but they have a chance at least to get the kill against Blaze, even jumping onto Falstad. The Gust was just a bit too badly timed, couldn't get anything done, and that's a kill against him. And now they're starting to chase Rhaegar a bit. Just as the Immortal is spawning. Shouldn't really chase too much, but instead go for the objective. They have an opportunity right there. Ooh, Li Ming is coming in. Li Ming, where's the next Calamity? And that's a kill. Yep, so now we have also Blaze eliminated, and they're trying to steal the camp away. Which is fine. Could even go for the objective already and win the halftime show here, of course. But taking the opponent's Shaman camp away is also quite helpful, especially since it will attack the bottom of the map. And that's, of course, where we already have the wall destroyed at the keep. So that's going to help. 10 kills against 13. And yeah, it's time for the halftime show. Alright, this one is now down to 50%, by the way. Well, let's check that out. Okay, so there's the immediate grab on the Immortal, and off we go. Halftime show has been taken. I don't even know why they're here. Guys, just move up. Take the Immortal. Why are you even just trying to defend this? You will win if you just race it. So the blue team is going to try and make a stand here, but if you keep a hero around, the chances are that he's getting locked down and dies. So instead, just go for the objective, burn it down as quickly as you can, and they should really just try to take it right now. Because even if they lose the fight, then it would still be a win, but if they lose the battle and lose the Immortal, that would be a disaster. So right now, they're all getting pushed back. Nobody's really making the move for it yet. The Panda's jumping out, doesn't have the ult back either. Blaze is down, so is the Panda. Here comes the kill against Rhaegar. Nice, and the counter kill against Li Ming. Kill against kill, kill after kill, blow for blow, another one eliminated. Just go for it! Doesn't go for the Immortal, they go for the kill against Sylvanas, but that is gonna be another objective. 4 unstoppable. Well done here. Okay, 3 kills against 4, and with this one, they got a chance to move through the top keep, I'd say. So this should actually be at least keep, honestly. We have 10 seconds on Blaze. Immortal needs a little bit longer, but it's 100% shield nearly. 95%, alright. But still. Looking also at the damage output, 40,000 for Li Ming. We got 38,000 for Sylvanas. And, well, let's have a look. Everybody moving topside, and that gate has no chance. And they should be able to grab this. I mean, there's 3 heroes that are just now on the way, so the 2 that are already up at the front need to be a bit cautious about how they play with this. So they can't get locked down, but they should still try to at least poke a little bit here. Now that the rest is slowly arriving, it's really the moment to go all out on it and make sure that that keep falls. Yeah, they're already jumping in for Paradox, trying to get the kill against Zul. Zul in trouble, and the kill! Zul is down, the Immortal still attacking, that's a kill against Blaze, and uh-oh, this might be a little bit more than just a keep. Yep, that Immortal is still here. Bloodlust hasn't even been used yet on Rhaegar, and now that Chen is jumping in, this looks very much like we might see the lead for Unstoppable in this first game. They seem to be truly unstoppable as they make their way for the core, taking down Falstad, taking down Sylvanas. The bird is down, Tiny Owl dies too, and this is the lead in the best of 5, ladies and gentlemen, as Unstoppable takes the 1-0 on Battlefield of Eternity against the Sloth Sanctuary in this grand final of the Epic Cup. Infernal Shrines, map number 2 in the best of 5 here at the Epic Cup Grand Final, and on the left side, the Sloth Sanctuary. Tiny Owl on Morales, Pitor on Reyna, we have Typhoon Hawk on Tyrael, Dentro on Greymane, and Paradox on Sonya. Backdoor strategy, yep, they got the entire draft through, which is a bit amazing to me, honestly. Normally you see teams trying to shut that down early, but as it happens, they get everything. Unstoppable in the lead now, on the right side of the map with Baibo on Stukov, Yukora on Leoric, Enziferum on Arthas, CNET on Jaina, and Suspect on Maiev. So if you're a little bit newer to Heroes of the Storm, this is an old Truth and Tried combo, which the blue team plays now. Truth, it's old, it has been tried, and it usually fails. So there's a couple of games where it was actually successful, and it always hinges on your opponent not really knowing what's going on. So the less your opponents know what's coming, the better, and this is a disaster for this comp. So 2 heroes lost as the game starts, and now a 3rd one falling. It couldn't get... I mean, it's off to such a horrible start. This could be bad. So the whole idea behind all of this is that the blue team, they want to get to level 10, they want to get the medevac for Morales, and then they want to fly to one of the keeps. So they fly to the keep with the medevac. Reyna uses a Hyperion over there. The opponent comes in. Once that they start defending, you drop the Sanctification with Tyrael. You need a hero that is really good at siege damage, really good at especially structure damage, which for example fits for Greymane and also does to an extent for Sonya. And then all you do is you take the keep down. And then you die, you respawn, and once the cooldowns are back up, then you can go for the core, always assuming that you already took a fort down on the same lane, of course. So that's pretty much what you're trying to do. It becomes problematic when you fall too far behind, as you can already imagine, of course. And the problem is also that with you sacrificing and just YOLOing in every time you get the heroic ability ready, your opponent is going to take a lead over you, which doesn't really matter too much in experience, but you need to make sure that these punches really do damage, or you are going to be in a lot of trouble. Against opponents that don't really know what happens, this is always a nice thing to do. It's always a fun thing to do when you can play, for example, a quick match with a couple of friends. But in a draft, when you go up against someone that knows what's happening, they will simply shut down some of the elements of this composition. Ban out Morales, for example, when they see, let's say, a Tyrael Greymane early pick, or they can ban out Tyrael when you start with an early Morales and drop Jimmy in there. So if there's someone on the other side drafting that kind of knows what's going on in the scene and has seen a couple of these cheese comps before, then they can shut it down pretty quickly. But everything just hinges now on the ability of Sloth Sanctuary to make it to level 10 on more or less eye level. And of course, in an ideal world, even winning a few fights before that, because the comp is not really that horrible outside of that. The problem that we're now having for the blue team is probably, in terms of composition, the Sonya pick. Because Sonya doesn't really do a lot for you with sustain. She's a very aggressive pick. You can play that style, but especially on a lower level, you would probably like to swap out Sonya for Blaze, because that gives you not only wave clear, it gives you a bit more sustain, you have the layered defenses of Sanctification and the bunker. But it is an aggressive comp that with good coordination can also win you a lot of team fights, of course. But you need to have that coordination, you need to have the shot calling in these fights where you focus on a single target and drop that as quickly as you can. So it's not like the blue team can't win anything at all, but as you can already tell, they are more or less willing to just move up to the top and try and take some of the structures down and prepare for later on and don't even go for the objective. And the red team isn't fooled. They're not going for the objective either. They could actually send Leo down and have at least one hero start to take some of those stacks, but generally speaking, they're just sitting tight and saying, whatever you do, we mirror. Because the objective of the blue team is to take this fort down so that later on they can fly to this keep and then the next fly is going to be the core itself. But since none of those keeps are being sacrificed for objective number 1, Team Unstoppable is still looking okay here. But the question still remains, can Sloth Sanctuary get a few kills now, maybe win an objective, and then through all of that, set themselves up so that on level 10 they're not too far behind and execute that combo. But yeah, let's have a little bit of a check at that. Yeah, down to the bottom of the map, that's already where we have the objective taken. They actually let Maiev sit on the shrine instead of having Leo taking the position. Everybody else is still moving in, but you can see the determination here. The idea is to take the fort down. They can also take this a little bit later. Again, you don't need to be too aggressive about it, and losing too many heroes at this point in order to make it happen isn't really worth it. So they are already YOLOing in for the fort, and that's 2 heroes lost that you can't really lose. They're still trying to do the exact same thing, and they will get... I mean, come on. Okay, so they're not getting it. Yeah, for some reason they decide that they don't want it after all, so the fort is still there. But outside of the fail to secure the fort, you can of course get it at any point later on in the game. But the more important part is you can't lose this many heroes. So not taking the fort down is already a problem, but as I said, the issue is you lose too many heroes. You can't go 0-6 and fall 1.5 levels behind. That's going to backfire very, very quickly. So if you play a comp like this, don't be too single-minded about it. Try and play the game normal up to the point where you can make this happen. If you only have your thoughts on reaching 10 and hitting the medevac, you are gonna run into trouble along the way, because you see exactly this happening. They YOLO onto a fort, the opponent isn't completely stupid, moves in, says like, alright, we'll fight here, and you lose just way too many heroes. Now, of course, we have level 10 in the hands of the red team, and the blue team is just in level 9. So that's already a huge problem. Syndragosa is in for Arthur's, okay. Yeah, we have also the slap for Stukov, so that will help them. Just push your opponent back a little bit. That's half a level until they hit level 10. Sonya is actually sneaking in, trying to take this out. Should still be able to get away up to the top, I assume. I mean, the flank now coming in, that could be a kill, and I guess it's probably going to be one. Yeah, that's another kill against them. And again, a lot of these moves are not really worth it. You can take the keep down, by the way, without having taken the fort. So it's not mandatory to take the fort first. You don't have to do that. So they didn't have to do that at all. But as it stands, there's level 10 now, and of course, here's the Hyperion. Medivac is going to come in. We're going to see Wrath of the Berserker. And yeah, off we go. So now they can make their first play, but they just lost the second fort. They're still behind. They haven't gotten a single kill yet. And the red team is going to try and figure out where exactly they spawn. But here's already the move towards the top. They're going to try for the keep. Everybody is already pushing here in the middle. And it's Medivac time. Yep, Medivac is in. Everybody else is already starting to move away. There we go. And let's snipe the keep. Sanctification timing is absolutely crucial. You don't want to use it too early. Want to use it just in time. Yep, they let themselves have some time here. And here we go. Now if they all focus on it. Where's the Hyperion, by the way? Hyperion hasn't been used. And... I mean, they get it. Don't get me wrong. They get it. But still... So this entire Hyperion setup didn't quite work as they intended, so now all 5 of them are dead, but they took the keep. So the Hyperion should probably be used a little bit earlier than he did, But again, the outcome was always going to be the same. You are going to get wiped if you do it like this. 12 kills against 0 now. But they have just managed to take the keep down. So despite the fact that they had big problems in the early game, let's not forget that this was at least to an extent successful. The keep is eliminated as you want to. And now the next move is 4 core. In an ideal world, you take a kill before that, or you have some vision on your opponent, which in this case they don't. But there are still chances for them, so they're not completely helpless here. But just imagine these plays happening without them YOLOing too hard at the beginning and being 0 and 7 in kills. So if they are a little bit more on eye level, on the same experience level with their opponent, they're in a much better spot. So now they can just start taking all of these things. Medivac is back up. They need to wait for the Sanctification on the other hand. They're already trying to move in here. That would be a bad move. Yeah, going for the Medivac right now would probably be a mistake. Leo is already trying to sniff them out. They're trying to wait here. Of course, the red team knows what's going to happen there eventually, so they're trying to play this very, very safe. You can see they're not committing to anything just yet. They don't have vision. And now they're starting to go for the camp here. It's also a little bit of an asset. I mean, if your opponent is always like scared shitless that you're starting to drop on their core, then they're going to hesitate there a little bit. But with everybody now sitting around here and trying to defend, if you know they're not there, you can actually start to fight for the top. Like again, that's 4 catapults already that we have over here. You escort that at any point to the core, you're in a great position. So they can always start going for the objective, which is exactly what they're doing right now. And then still fall behind a little bit and start to fly in. So that's what they should probably aim for at this point. I mean, it's a little bit of a tricky one. Again, you need to play on the macro level quite nicely. You definitely need to make sure that you're making the right moves there. Trick your opponents a little bit, bait them on one side of the map, try and force a fight, see if you can get an isolated kill. It's 5 catapults, by the way. That's a little bit ridiculous. But we already have now Leo coming in, so they're going to be forced into a fight, and they don't have the level 13 talent, so keep that in mind. Mocus Forales, good old strategy, still tried and true, and that's a kill right here. Yeah, that's bad. I mean, again, the healer is gone. That's also your main tool, but at least they take the Mortar Punisher. There's something. Greyman is now also dead. Jimmy is still trying to get away. Spoiler alert, I don't see it happening. Well, since Arthas apparently doesn't want to kill, yeah, I guess he's going to make it out after all. And Sonya and Tyrell are also walking away from this. Okay, so this isn't actually too bad. Problem is that Morales is dead. But again, once that she's back and everybody else, they can start to fly in again for it. Okay, 14 kills against 0, by the way. So, yeah. I love how this Punisher is trying to take the wall down despite that the keep is already gone. Okay, so now they're at the bottom of the map. Everybody else can start to move in again. And you can also fly in twice. Again, keep that in mind. It's like, you don't need to take the core down in one single swoop. It's not like they have Abathon on the other side. So if you just like start to fly now, you have a chance there. Yep, and that's where we go. Alright, so they're flying towards the core. They've already figured it out. They're already starting to Hearthstone. And now Hyperion, please, a little bit earlier than before. Yep, there we go. Sanctification is too early. Sanctification was too early here. And yeah, way too early. Now they get some damage on it. How much? That's the question, though. 60. Okay, so 60, 53%. And he explodes. That's 48. That means that if they do that again in the same fashion, they have a chance of taking it down. So, yeah, 48%. It's not too bad. But they might have done it maybe a little bit too late. And again, they've fallen far and far behind. They're 3 levels behind, 19 kills against 0. But if they just respawn and can fly back in, then they have an opportunity. But the red team, as you can see, is already saying, you know what? Fuck this. We just go across the map and we are taking them down. So that's pretty much the approach that they are aiming for. But generally speaking, played a little bit differently, that is likely going to work. Not so sure about this race attempt here. Well, Medivac is ready. I don't think that's a good idea. I really think you guys should defend. Yeah, spoiler alert. That's not happening. Alright, so unstoppable with the 2-0 in this best of 3 series. Sloth Sanctuary, unfortunately, not really crisp enough when it comes to the execution of the backdoor style here. But still, good attempt by them. Unstoppable played it quite nice, played really defensive, made sure that they always had a couple of heroes at the base or monitored everything that was happening there. So good defense from the red team, nicely done, and they get awarded with a 2-0 lead in the best of 5 here at the Epic Cup Grand Final. Game number 3. Well, the backdoor attempt didn't quite work, but we have to talk about the draft in just a second, because this is actually hilarious what we're looking at right now. So, on the left side of the map, Sloth Sanctuary on Cursed Hollow, our third map in this best of 5. We got Dendro on Vala, Typhoon Hawk on ETC, Peter on Oriel, Paradox on Malthael, and what is this? Morales as second support? Wait, what? We're going to talk about this in a second. On the right side of the map, Unstoppable with a 2-0 lead, and now they play Bibo on Malfurion, Eukora on Artanis, we have NC Ferrum on Tyrael, Suspect on Falstad, and CNET on Greymane. So, just to explain to you guys what actually happened here, I'll give you a hint. Morales, the last pick on the red team was Malfurion, and the last pick on Sloth Sanctuary side, just before that, was Morales. So if you look at the composition of Unstoppable, you pretty quickly get the picture here. Unstoppable actually looked at the last match and said, like, you know what? We can do this too. Two can play at that game. So they started to draft Greymane, they played Tyrael, they had Falstad so that they can also gust zone control. As we have an attack against Artanis, he does what he does best. He is useless and dies. And they get Artanis so that they can use the blind when they move in. And they just were like still one support short, one part of the puzzle, and that was Morales. And apparently the blue team didn't see that coming the entire time. They already picked their own support, apparently in one of the earlier rotations together with Vala. So they wanted to play an Oriel setup. Now that they all of a sudden realized towards the end of the draft, holy shit, they're actually going to backdoor us. They were like, we can't let that happen. And that apparently forced the Morales pick. So a forced double support pick with Morales on the final position because they didn't want to go up against the backdoor. And that's actually kind of wild. That's really kind of wild. Now they pretty much ruined their own draft with it, of course. Well, I guess they turned Vala into a hyper carry with it. But I can definitely promise you, this was not intended. This was definitely Unstoppable, starting to sneak in the strategy from the last game, hiding it a bit through the draft, and all of a sudden it dawned to the blue team, oh shit. And since they didn't have any bans left anymore, they had to pick it. So, yeah, there's the kill now. We actually have 2 kills already, so not only did Artanis die, we also saw a kill now against Tyrael, which all of a sudden means that we have 2 kills against 0 for Sloth Sanctuary. And they're starting to fight back here. They're actually doing the best thing that they can with this composition, and I really mean this. They play a 4-man with Vala in the double supports, like in the days of old, before each GC even. Especially the Chinese teams love to play this shit. And they have their side laner simply rotating between the lanes, moving up to the top and the middle to get the experience. And this 4-man is pretty brutal. This can honestly destroy an entire lane without any big troubles, especially if there's only 2 heroes that are trying to defend. And you see it right here. That's another kill against Tyrael. And yeah, with that, we have 3 kills against 0 and an endless push. They can easily sacrifice the first objective, for example. Malthael could even try and interrupt a little bit. The only thing that Paradox needs to be careful about, he can't die here. But if they push with the next minion wave and take all of this down, then the fort is gone. So having a strong double support 4-man with Vala is incredibly powerful and has been played throughout the esports history of Heroes of the Storm time and time again. Which is exactly what they're doing here. These 2 heroes are not mana dependent, so that's another huge deal. There's the fort already down, and this is just an endless push that they're executing. So it's actually not really a bad play by any means. Especially if your opponent is also looking at a composition that they might not really have wanted to play there in that particular combo in the first place. Them going straight in for the keep, that's a little bit ballsy. Didn't really expect that. I thought they would at least try to go back and defend slightly, since there's 2 lanes now being assailed. But if they actually push this through even further and can take a keep down, that would be totally worth it. But they will have to wait for the next minion wave. At least that tower is something that you should be able to take down. So, yeah, a little bit of a different approach now. The last time they tried to fly behind, take it down. This time they're just like barreling through the lane. And after taking the towers down in the wall, the red team is realizing, hey, we can't allow this. So instead they are moving to the bottom with 3 heroes trying to defend here and at least hold them at bay for now. Oriel already unpacking the whip here, going full Indiana Jones on them. With a quick one, top side, the bird still sitting tight, Paradox moving away. But with the next objective spawning, it seems like Atanas is going to get the easy channel and nobody will interrupt him. ATC is just too late for that, but they still might be able to get the kill. Okay, yeah, walks right into them. Tries to swap himself out, and does. There's the power slide, though. Push him back too. Good coordination there on the abilities, but now they're forced into the fight, but it's a 5 versus 4. He should take it. This is as good a fight as you're ever gonna get. Greyman is visible on the bottom of the map, thanks to the lane. So, yeah, they fall back and don't take it here. But it's currently level 8 versus level 8. 3 kills against 0, so experience is even. The structural advantage goes to Sloth Sanctuary. So at least the early game worked out for them. Full on Lightning Rod focus for Falstad. That also takes, of course, some of his global pressure away, since he doesn't have Boomerang to clear the waves quickly enough. So there's that. And up towards the top, there we still got Suspect in plain sight. Yeah, now that they're starting to go for the camps a little bit more diligently, they also have to make sure that they're fighting for the next tribute, because this one is potentially going to curse them. So they're currently trying to rotate top, but they gave the entire fort up. Well, they nearly did, so that's a huge problem right now. That's pretty much losing them their entire lead. And now they're also a little bit late on this rotation, at least when it comes to Malthael. And the red team is instead going for the boss here. They of course know that the blue team has to rotate down to the bottom of the map, so they can simply take the boss, move down, and play around this, try and see if they can maybe also grab this one. So boss is taken, will definitely destroy the fort, will go much further than this, and this is too late. But the red team makes the mistake of actually not rotating directly. This one was a given move, that they would try and do that. They actually misplay this a bit, because they should have that tank sitting over here just to make sure that they are aware if someone else rotates in, and that's exactly the reason why. They do it too late. It just barely sees it, but the boss is about to get attacked. Falster can fly down. Level 10 abilities make it really tricky for the blue team to take this one. Sanctification on the boss spot are great. Boss gets leashed, so that's not a problem. But here's the fight happening. They get gusted away immediately. A bit more damage. And during all of this, the top boss is still pushing and will likely break through the wall. Next tribute is about to be up. Nice. Aegis block right there. And Artanis is dead again. Yeah, he's a pretty shitty hero. Hasn't changed since we talked about him the last time. He's just trash and much worse than any other hero you can take in that position. Well, maybe not any other, but any other that's actually meta. He is good if you go for the Morales composition. That's actually a combo in which his ult, the Suppression Pulse, is gonna give you quite a bit of value. The problem being that if you then don't get your last centerpiece and a key hero in form of Morales, then you are stuck with Atanis, and that's just the problem. 6 kills against 1. There's at least a channel for the blue team now, so the red team, they had Falstad in a position, couldn't do anything. And now the second attempt to go for the boss. Team fights are going well. They have an insane amount of sustain thanks to the double support, which they're exploiting as much as they possibly can here. But it's still 1 fort, 4 fort. This boss, then again, could, with proper pressure, do a whole lot here. So yeah, there's the Suppression Pulse. And again, with Morales, this would have been a really good composition. Falstad can gust the opponent away when you go for the keep. You have Suppression Pulse to also blind them. In addition to that, you have the Sanctification. But as it turns out, they don't have all of this. Okay, the bird already in. Oh, ETC baited a little bit, but we're still all good here. Malthael needs to be okay. Does actually not defend this, or does he? Seems a little bit hesitant here. And decides to go for it. So this is going to be a 4-man at the bottom of the map. 4 versus 5, which means we got to be careful. But the boss is of course going to do a whole lot of damage. And now that the tribute is also spawning another 26 seconds, it means that Malthael could theoretically just move topside and try and take the tribute instead, which would mean curse. So the blue team can't really die here. You need to be very, very careful with this. Malthael is starting to move top. Another 10 seconds. You should definitely get that. And they need to move back now. They can't stay here. They really can't stay. Like, this is not what you want. Falstad was actually, I bet you, Falstad was thinking about flying over and gusting them back. Yep, and there we go already. Falstad with the fly, there's the gust, and here's the fight. Vala is down. Yep, there's a curse, but that curse doesn't do jack shit if you lose all of your heroes just as it happens. So now we have Morales also taken, and ETC. Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate for Sloth Sanctuary. Really unfortunate. Again, their timing is just off. The idea was good. All the plays that they pretty much made there were pretty decent too. And then they just decide for no reason that they would stay at the bot lane for much, much longer. They stayed until the boss fell, even though it was absolutely obvious that they could not get the keep itself. And then that opens up a possibility for Unstoppable to force a fight in a 5 versus 4 setup. And it goes exactly as you imagine. It's a little bit weird to me, though, that nobody is dealing with this. That's a little bit strange. I mean, why would you sacrifice your keep? They had all of this coming. They knew this was coming. So, for some reason, the red team just says, you know what? We hate keeps. We really hate keeps. Keeps suck. Forts are much better than keeps. So, now they lost the keep. For no reason whatsoever. And they're also about to lose the top fort. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's going to be close. Okay, I'm a little bit confused by this key. Like, why not simply keep Falstad there, and then once this global comes back, he can fly back in? I mean, it's not like there was any real danger or anything, so it's like, I don't really know. I mean, this is literally a tutorial on how not to do it. There's a lot of good moves from Unstoppable throughout this entire series. I specifically like the defense in game number 2. But moves like this, a little bit more chaos. How is it possible that nobody on this team, at some point at least, said, boss, what about the bottom keep? Should someone save it? They only have one hero on the map. But apparently no. So, yeah. They want to make it exciting, I suppose. 15 versus 15, 7 kills against 4. So, teamfight still looks a bit better. Yep, here comes the attack. There's the fort eliminated. And let's not forget that bosses are back up. First one is already up at the top, and the one at the bottom is going to spawn. Oh, actually a minute. Yeah, sorry. The fight was delayed, yeah. My bad. For just a second, it was like, okay, that one is spawning in like 20 seconds. But yeah, of course, they had to fight bot side first before they then went for boss. Makes more sense. Yeah, but now that both are waiting for level 16, they're already starting to move around the top boss in an attempt to see if someone steps a little bit too far out and gets taken down. Let's have a quick look here. I mean, also let's have a look at the damage, actually. 29,000 for Vala, way ahead in the damage numbers, against the 18,000 that we're seeing for Falstad. And they're actually going for it, and I think this is a huge mistake. If you look at these abilities, Suppression Pulse, Twilight Dream, like everything that we have here just screams, get the fuck away from the boss pit. So, I would not try and get this. This is a bad move. That was also a horrible ult. But that, like, that disregarded for a moment still. Alright, level 16 talents. Both teams are gonna get it. The blue team is now grabbing it. Should actually give us Manticore. Yep, Manticore is in. And let's see. Okay, so they take this one. Oh, Mosh Pit! Mosh Pit! And the Twilight Dream was too quick. He needed to use the Mosh Pit before that. So now he's got interrupted. Aegis is used. Oh, it's a disaster. From a big kill opportunity, it goes to a complete disaster. At least a counter kill and a stack for Malthael as he drops Malfurion. Yeah, there can be only one M. And Paradox actually gets out. Yeah, Oriel though. Oriel died. Okay, Falstad flying to the tribute. Wants to make sure that they get the curse now. And up at the top. Still defend against this. And it is curse time, baby. Yeah, gets it. Team is already on the boss towards the top. So they're gonna take that. And yeah.
Go!
Oh, fantastic. Oh, glorious. Absolutely glorious. It's one of those moments when as a player you're just like, I hope nobody saw that. But I'm sorry, my friend. We saw all of it. Oh, fantastic. I mean, anyways, the curse is in, and this boss at the top is going to occupy the blue team for quite a bit. So the red team has at least a chance to go down to the bottom of the map and take this down. Honestly, I never really see the need to go for it. You can just simply move through, take the wave here, especially if you have vision on your opponent, and start taking this wall down. The fort behind you is going to fall anyways because of the minions that move in. But now the boss at the top is nearly taken down. Again, what is the blue team doing? The fuck is this? Why are you moving away? Stop moving away from it. There's a catapult behind it. Alright, so that keep is pretty much a goner. And down here, Sanctification should be up next. And yes, Malthael is down. That's the kill on Oriel. And they're gonna get everybody. The keep at the top has now fallen. So, yep. And down here, the boss is taken by the red team. And everybody gets wiped. So, yeah. So they just lost the top keep and they suicided into a boss, and there's that. So, yeah. I don't even understand why they don't simply go through the small wall and go just for the core directly, but I guess they can also go through the keep if they really want to. So, it's an interesting fight and an interesting setup to begin with. 12 kills against 9. And at that point, I think it's a foregone conclusion that this series is going to end with a 3-0. As Unstoppable is taking down the Sloth Sanctuary. Those poor sloths, now they don't even have a sanctuary anymore. With a 3-0, taking the victory here in a very, very interesting game on Cursed Hollow. GG, and congratulations to Unstoppable. Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description, and check that out. Thanks in advance, and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.